Welcome to January 3rd, 365 days of richer living. Today I live. Today I live. And we start with three quotes. The first from Revelation 21:4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, not crying, neither shall there be any more pain. From the Talmud, pray not that sinners may perish, but that the sin itself may disappear. Hmm. And from the Upanishads, by knowledge of God, all the bonds of ignorance, unhappiness are destroyed. And so our reading this morning begins. The wisest people who ever lived told us that the knowledge of truth shall make us free. All books of spiritual wisdom have taught us that it is not the one who makes the mistake who should be who we should seek to destroy. It is the mistake itself which must be erased. Now that means that evil has no existence in itself. It has no history, no matter what the negation of today. Let me try that again. No matter what the negations of yesterday may have been, the affirmations of today may rise triumphant and transcendent over them. Thus, all the evils of our yesterdays disappear into their native nothingness. If we behold beauty instead of ugliness, then beauty will appear. If we persist in seeing the true rather than the false, then that which is true will appear. Where is the false, the untrue, and the evil when the knowledge of truth has made us free? Its days are as though they had never been. Its cause is neutralized, hence, it leaves no effect. Let us, then, cease weeping over the shortcomings and mistakes and evils of our yesterdays, and steadfastly beholding the face of the great and divine reality, let us resolve to walk in the light wherever there is no darkness. This morning, the affirmation is definitely. I know that every negative condition of the past is cleared away from my consciousness. I no longer think about it, see it, or believe in it, nor do I believe that it has any effect whatsoever in my experience. Yesterday is not, tomorrow is not, but today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. Today I live. So let's take that into our time of silent meditation. With this breath, I recognize the infinite. And by recognize, I mean literally to recognize, to know again that there is one infinite, ever present allness, greater than any name. It is everywhere present. It is the singular substance out of which all is created. And being created out of it, its creation must contain it. And so I recognize that all of creation is this one substance, this one reality, this absolute consciousness, individualizing itself in the diversity of multiplicity, yet is never separate from itself, that its creation infused with it abides within it, and it abides around and within its creation. This unbreakable, impenetrable oneness, this unity, is the wholeness of life itself. God, Spirit, Buddha, Allah, life, love, peace, power, presence, whatever we choose to call it, it is so much greater than any one word can capture and encompass. I know that I am this in form, created out of it by it, to become aware that I am that, to lift up that inner self to the human self, to bring about this alignment where anything and everything, unlike the truth of my being, is neutralized. That every mistake, every misstep is valued as bringing me home to me. That there is no negativity other than misalignment within me. And that the simple alignment, bringing the self in alignment with the self, neutralizes that negativity. I speak my word, knowing it is the word of the infinite, speaking itself into being, claiming and affirming that there is no resentment within me, that there is no resentment within life, that resentment is the activity of misalignment. Resentment is the activity of holding on to the mistake. And in this moment, I speak into realization, the correction, knowing that to live in the correction demands a release of the mistake. I consciously choose to lean into that activity of correction at the level of thought, at the level of origin. No longer is there within me any need, any purpose, any value of holding on to any wrongness, nor demanding any rightness. I live in the neutrality of it simply is. I live in the joy and the freedom that life simply is. And in so doing, I allow myself to experience the full depth and breadth of each moment, unfiltered, untethered, undefended, simply as it is. And then this moment and this moment, living in the now, from freedom into freedom as freedom. I recognize this is my birthright, and knowing it is my birthright, I claim it now. I claim it, and I choose to live it. A birthright of freedom. A birthright of freedom from all discord through the emancipation of myself from all past mistakes. And as I emancipate myself, I emancipate all of life. Because what is freed in one place is freed every place. And so as I free myself, I free all of life. As I refuse to hold myself in resentment, I refuse to hold my fellow humanity in resentment. And to know that the self that is in me is the same self within them, simply individualized. And so I lift up that self to that self as I lift up this self to this self. That is the activity and wholeness of the operation of one. Holy, holy, holy wholeness. So grateful. So grateful to know that what is true of me is true of all. And just as when we harm ourselves, we harm others, and when we harm others, we harm ourselves. When we love ourselves, we love others. And when we love others, we love ourselves. Reciprocity simply is. And so I celebrate that law of reciprocity. I celebrate the law that unfolds life perfectly beyond my wildest predictions and imaginations. I celebrate. I celebrate that life simply loves life. And that invitation is always there to simply know the truth of our being and live it. And so I celebrate life. I celebrate love. I celebrate every messy moment, knowing it is the next message that brings life closer to a realization, a making real, a revealing of what has always been true. Grateful, grateful, grateful. And so I release into this day, this time construct of January 3rd, and simply commit myself to step in each moment, awake, aware, intentional, purposeful. rising the self to the self, to live today full on. Ah, yes. And so I invite you, whenever you're hearing this, the invitation is to own it as your own, to anchor it into your being. As we say together, Ashe, Aho, Amen, and so it is.